Welcome folks to another video, brand new, and today we're going to be discussing what is in my electric guitar case. Since I've just purchased and received the Ibanez MC300 case, I need to fill it with things, and so what I'm going to have to do is transfer all of my old stuff in my other cases to this case. So this is a good time to kind of discuss what exactly should go in your case, what I put in my cases, and the different aspects of these different tools that we have. So let's go ahead and get in the middle of this and see what we got. All right, so I'm gonna come back over here and grab my Ibanez case, put it on the table, and we'll get started from there. All right, here we have the Ibanez case, the M300C, I believe it is called. And let's open this bad boy. I recently did a unboxing gear video. So this is what we have, a beautiful, brand new, fresh case with that faux velvet interior. Love the feel of that. But we got to see what's in my old case, okay? So let's check that out. All right, so here we have my old cases. I have the old Ibanez case that actually came with my Ibanez RG4EX1. That's this one over here on the wall. Okay, so I'm going to crack that bad boy open and we'll see what's inside for now, and then get in more detail as we look over to the other case. So right now what we have is my other Ibanez guitar, one of my others, the Ibanez SA130 MFM with Seymour Duncan pickups in it. So we're going to get that out of the way and we're going to start transferring things over. So I'm not going to reveal it here, I'm just going to bring it over to the other case and we'll see what's going on. And when we get ready to open the other case underneath this one, we'll watch it as well. First thing everyone needs to keep in their guitar case, a guitar strap. This is not the strap I'm going to be using. The strap I'm going to be using is actually on the guitar itself. The guitar I bought this case for is sitting right over here. You can see that. I'll go ahead and show that to you right now. And that will be the strap that I'll go ahead and put inside the case. Probably, if not here, along this way. As I said on the previous video about my gear unboxing, this channel has another heavier piece here. If you can see that or not, probably not, but it has a little indentation, but it's not inward, it's coming outward, and it closes this up, so it causes this to be a little bit smaller surface area because there's like a little pocket thing that kind of pushes down on this, whereas this one does not. It's open here as well. You can see that indentation there. You can see that, going in as opposed to something coming out like it is up here. So let me show you that guitar real quick. All right, this is the guitar that's going to be mainly used for this case. This is the Ibanez RG-EW521 MZW. Beautiful guitar, beautiful instrument. And this case is so form-fitting that it will not fit with the strap on it, okay? So the strap is going to have to come off and we're going to put it inside the case, all right? So let's just, out of sake of, let's see how everything's going to fit. Let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to take these rubber washers off. The strap itself actually came with these little rubber washers as kind of like little strap locks. If you'd like to check out all this gear that I'm showing right now, you can check out my As Seen on YouTube gear list. If you go to the website ericbeatty.com/gear, you'll be able to check that out and be able to see a lot of this stuff on there and some other places, other lists that I have as well. So let's go ahead and take the strap off. And since I'm going to want probably these little rubber washers things, I'm probably going to put them in here too. There's a little pocket down there, so the little things like picks and different things that are small, I'm probably going to leave in this little pocket. Take that rubber washer off. So the guitar sits neatly in here just like this, nice and form-fitting. And so let's go ahead and do this around the guitar, okay? So you can have something nice to look at. So the first thing I carry, and everybody needs to carry in their guitar case, obviously, is a guitar, okay? So let's go ahead and wind this strap up and see exactly where it is. Now this strap is by a company called Art Tribute. Like I said, if you go to my gear list, the As Seen on YouTube gear list at ericbeatty.com/gear, you'll be able to see that brand. It won't exactly look like this, but it's the same brand, Art Tribute, okay, as you can see there. Love this strap. It really speaks to the way this guitar looks. So this is kind of a bit bulky, so we may just put it here. This looks like a deeper thing. Let's see, first of all, if it closes with that. It's a little pressure. I don't want to have to deal with pressure, so what I can do, one of two things. I can pull this out just a little bit and make this kind of like a thinner chunk here. So what we're going to do is kind of measure how long this needs to be, start winding accordingly for that. And now that that's wound, let's put that in there, see if that's any better. It's a little bit of resistance. Maybe it's the guitar itself though. Yeah, the guitar has a little bit of resistance, but that's because there is some padding on the top to actually force the guitar in there and to be stable. So that may not be an issue. So let's go ahead and put the strap here. We'll go ahead and put that there. The next thing every guitarist needs in their guitar case is a polishing cloth. Now, this doesn't necessarily need polish, it's a satin finish, but every time you pick up your guitar and you play it, you need to always, number one, wipe down the strings. Make sure it always is clean and free of the oils in your hands and your fingers. And just recently I was looking up on YouTube, and one of the tips that I found was to wash your hands before you play. Each time before you play, wash your hands, because you don't know what kind of oils and residue are on your fingers. So that's a really important point. And now I try to do that all the time, regardless of whether I do or not, after which I always wipe my strings down. And since I'm a heavy sweater, I'm actually sweating now as I record this video, I always make sure to wipe the arm rest as well. And I try to wipe the whole instrument, but definitely the arm rest and the strings. Wipe the strings before the arm rest, because if you don't, you will get the arm rest sweat all over your strings, and nobody wants arm sweat on their strings. Okay, so where are we going to store this? Usually I typically like to store the guitar polish cloth underneath the headstock. It just, I don't know, it just works for me there, and I've already got it pre-folded a certain way, so I'm going to store that for now at least under the headstock. That's going to be safe there. Next up, something I always leave in my guitar case so that I'll know when my strings have been changed. I leave a previous string package. Now this was when I last changed my strings on my RG4EX1, as you can see here, 2019. So we're not going to use this string pack. We're going to leave that in here, the other case, for the other RG, and we may end up putting that somewhere else entirely. Don't know just yet. Okay, so the next thing we need to keep in our guitar case is some tools. More specifically, the tools that go with your guitar. And in this case, Ibanez actually sent me the tools that go along with this guitar. So I have some Allen wrenches, some hex keys that are specifically for this guitar. So I'm definitely going to need those to stay in the guitar. I don't want them flying around and accidentally hitting the guitar, not that they would, but I don't want them in this loose part. I want them to be secure. So I'm going to put them in here on this side where there's a little bit of a buffer to come down and press down on this so that nothing's coming around loose. Now that is the Allen keys that go specifically for the guitar. I'm not exactly sure. There's some for the saddles. There's some Allen keys there. These back here are Phillips screw heads, so I won't need them for that. There may actually be some more hex key things up in here. I'm not exactly sure. I know there's one, possibly, nope, there's not one for the truss rod. I didn't even notice this when I bought it. I'm happy about it now. The headstock has one of them really easy flip open truss rod covers, and that makes it a whole lot easier to get to the truss rod. So one of these hex keys are for the saddles, one of the hex keys are for the truss rod adjustment, and the other one I'm not sure about. Now, when I bought my AZ242BC guitar from Ibanez, that actually came with an official Ibanez guitar tool. Now, this has hex keys, it has screwdrivers, it even has one of these little millimeter ruler gauge things that you can measure your string action and different things like that with. A few other things that it has, some more screwdrivers, some more hex keys, and a little ratchet type of turner thing. Okay, so, but I don't want that to be in this case. These hex keys should be fine for what I need it for. I will put this in here if I need to take one of my other guitars, specifically my RG4EX1, because it's a Floyd Rose style locking trim, so I will need Allen keys for that, and these most likely will not fit. So if I ever need that guitar, then I will be sure to bring one of these tools with me. For now though, I'll just leave it out. And the next thing we need to bring is something to hold your picks in. I actually have this Altoids pack for now. I also have another pack that I'll show you in a little bit. But this little tin is perfect. And recently I discovered that Altoids now makes small mini mints. They're about that big. So those are perfect for storing picks in. Another thing I recommend to store picks in are those little fuse containers. The fuses for cars that have the little 2 prongs on them. Those little containers are perfect for storing about 4 or 5 picks if you need to do so. Now these are just some picks that I have to experiment with and random. At the moment, right now, what I use for my electric guitars are Dunlop Flow picks, and I use 1mm. Some other good ones that I have in here are the John Petrucci Jazz 3 signature pick. I felt these were a little too small for me. I liked something with a bigger grip. That's why I changed to, for a long time, the XL Jazz. They're bigger. They got more surface area to grip. But now I use the Flow pick. I like the depth that it gives me, and I like the feel of it. Another good one to use is Ultex. These are a little bright, but they have a nice grip to them as well. So some kind of pick container that you will use. Now for me, this actually fits right there in the little channel. So instead of, if you don't have a container, you can have something like a little pouch or something to keep your picks in. I could keep them here if I wanted to. In fact, I could keep these little rubber washers in here as well. But for now, I'm not going to worry about that. I think I'll leave my pick container there. It fits perfectly. So that brings us to the next item that you must include in your guitar case. I've recently been turned on to this product and haven't really had a chance to enjoy it much. I don't use it a whole lot, but I have seen people that do use it, like Marcos Foley. He uses this all the time, and I am convinced that this is probably one of the secrets behind dealing with string squeak, especially when you're trying to record and you're shifting to power chords and things like that, and that is Finger Ease Guitar Lubricant. Basically, you shake this up. It's kind of a citrusy smell. It is flammable. There is a warning on the label about that. But you shake this up, you spray it across your guitar once, twice, maybe 3 times. You're done. You let it sit for a few minutes, maybe in a few seconds, wipe it down real good, and you're good to go. Now I try to put a piece of cloth or something over my pickups when I'm spraying this, because I don't want to get any material or anything like that in the pickups themselves. So I'll just drape a cloth over that, spray, and when I wipe it down, that gets all this right here as well, because the liquid kind of moves and is transferred there. So that's what I definitely want to include in my guitar case, is the Finger Ease. Now I'm probably not going to put it here because the pocket here will not close all the way. Yeah, there's too much resistance there, so I'm just going to leave it in this little channel over here. Okay, so once again we have a channel that we can leave that in. If push comes to shove, these picks can go over here if I need them to somehow. I do not want my case to be too cramped. Right now already there's very little room for much else, but that's typically what I include. Now let me take you over to my other case and we'll see what is in there and what I can use to transfer over here. All right, we are at my other case now. This is the case that I used to keep my Fender guitar in, my Stratocaster that I've had for years and sold maybe a couple years ago. But now it's mainly used for my other guitars. So let's see what's in here. I know this one has got quite a bit of other things in there, but we'll see what this is. All right, so it's not too bad like I thought it might be, but there are a few things over here. We'll discuss all of those when we get back to the other case. All right, back in my other case now. Let's see what we've got over here. Now, another great pick container are these old diabetic kits. Okay, check this out. Contains easily zippable, has several different pockets you can use. Here's one I actually keep earbuds in. That way I can, if I need to listen to my amplifier and not drown everybody else out, I have something to do it with. And also this little zipper pack is where I keep some more picks. Okay, once again the Flow pick and some other ones that I usually keep there. You can even have room for a little pen if you need to do that for writing music or whatever. But these are really handy for keeping your picks in. Now, if I find that tin is a little too aggravating to use, then I may just slip this bad boy in there. Right now, I don't see myself needing any earbuds, so not going to worry about this just yet. I also have a wrench in here that is mainly used for tightening up these right here. Now, it doesn't fit these actual screws, washers, so I think this fit my Fender guitar when I used it. So I'll no longer be needing this, so I can figure out what to do with that later. If you like to use capos, then you can leave a capo in your case. This one is the Dunlop trigger capo. I never need one, so I don't use it. I did before, but I try to get away from that on electric guitars. If you like to use a slide, then by all means include a slide in your guitar case, preferably where it won't be bouncing around a lot. So you'll want to put it to where this little pad thing can lock that down and not have any issues with it. However, I hardly ever use my slide, so I won't be using that just now. Alright, I decided to change the camera angle up a little bit so that you guys can see a little bit better what is in my case. So far, let's review. We have a guitar, really important, we need the guitar. We have, oh, now I didn't mention this, but I have a fret wrap from Groove Gear that I leave on my headstock for when I need to record or have some cleaner sounds on the top of the neck here where it removes harmonics and things like that, or if I do some tapping or fancy shred work, which I don't know how to do a lot of, but I try, I can move that down. So I can leave that on the headstock. I presumably can anyway. Yes, that will work because there is a little bit of a channel here as well. Now you can clearly see, should be able to now, especially if I tilt the camera up just a hair, this little pad I was telling you about. This locks in whatever is down here. Here though, we don't have that. This is indented both sections. We have a pad here to kind of close this in, but the others we do not. Okay, so to review, we have the guitar, the fret wrap, we have the guitar polish cloth, we have our strap and our strap locks, we have our tools to work on the guitar, we have our picks or pick container. If the picks, if you can fit them somewhere else, that's fine, but I recommend trying to keep them in some kind of container, whether it be a little pouch or whatever. Sometimes those little squeeze change things are great for picks as well. And we have our string lubricant, our finger ease, okay? So what else do we have that we can use? Way back when, I used to take my picks and to make them last longer, I used to keep nail files. Little nail files. Now this was, the brand name don't really matter, but this is called Tropical Shine. Got these at Sally's, it's a local hair salon. So I used to keep different varying degrees of sandpaper or nail files so that I could polish those picks and make them sharp again. However, I found that affected tone, believe it or not. And I have so many picks that I can just basically get a new one when I want one, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. You may, if you have a problem and a tendency to break strings, you may want to keep a set of strings, replacement strings, in your guitar case. Now, I myself don't have that problem a lot. However, look, it would fit just perfectly there if I decided to do that, okay? So if I wanted to do strings, I could do that very easily. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of problems with it. And this pack has been in my previous case that I just showed you. Oh my goodness, probably close to 10 years, I would have to say. This is, yes, the actual number on here. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a number over here, it's very small. But it says 8/15/09. These have been in here since 2009. It's over 10 years old. 11 years these strings have been in there. So these are probably dead anyway. These are made by First Act. I didn't even know that. I thought these were Musician's Friend strings, but I have since surpassed that. So these are 9/42 First Act electric guitar strings. And that's all they're for is replacement strings. Now strings are so cheap, you don't even need these. You can just buy another pack. And I've got plenty to choose from. I have another guitar strap, which I don't necessarily use. I have the package to the polish cloth, which is by GHS. I like their polish cloth, not really crazy about their strings though. I have a sales receipt, which I will not show because it has some addresses and stuff. A sales receipt of the last time my Fender guitar was worked on, I believe. This was back in 2016. Some other things I have, I'll go ahead and put this in here. This is what I carried in my case all the time to practice with, which I never really practiced much of. And that is, I had some printouts of an old website. Once again, probably about 10 years, over 10 years ago. This was 2015, or excuse me, 2005 when I printed this out. Now you go on the website and you can get it on your mobile phone. Nobody needs printouts anymore. But this was a website most people probably know called Guitar Shred Show. This was every single printout of all of his tabs when he first came out with the website. So I have all kinds of tabs of learning on the fly, all kinds of different tricks. And I also have one that I printed out for the Love of God tablature. Okay, so I don't know where I got that. I forgot that was even in here. But I may have to take that out and revisit some of that. There's some really good stuff in here. And so there's that one. Here I have some Paul Gilbert alternate picking exercises. Not sure where I got that from, but I found that online. And then I keep these mostly out of sentimentality and out of nostalgia. I used to play in a group with my brother and some friends called Fog Light, and we used to keep our little music sheets and our lead sheets with us all the time. Some of these are old classics, which everybody knows, Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. Okay, and so just some charts for that. You Were Good All the Time, Your Love Endures Forever. Some of these are songs that I've actually written. There's another good one, Dwell in Your House, One Desire. I don't exactly remember what that one goes like. There's one I wrote, one called Breathe, This Is the Air I Breathe. Your Love, O Lord, by Third Day, one of my favorites. King of My Heart, another good one. Trade in My Sorrows, we always had fun with that one in the wah pedal. We actually made a demo album that was never really released. And then another song that I wrote. So if I was to do this now, I would keep it underneath the body of the guitar and let that sit there. However, I find that papers get tore up a lot and they get all shriveled up. And nowadays, like I said, with mobile phones, we don't necessarily technically need a lot of printouts. So out of all of my guitar cases, this is what I end up with. As far as I know, that's all that I need to have a good day. Oh, there's one more thing that I need. I just saw it. It wasn't in my case. I have to have this. Every guitarist must have this. The other thing you have to have is your instrument cable. And I wanted to use this one. I actually got this one with the Ibanez, I do believe. This is only like, I think, a 10 foot. So I've had to carry the 20 footer around for a while, and I don't need that much length when I'm teaching students. So a shorter guitar cable if you're traveling for students, or a longer cable if you're going to gigs and things like that. So I definitely need to put my cable in here, and that fits nicely and snug right there. So as you can see, I have everything I need to have a good gig for now, or a good session with my students. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your attention. If you would, do me a big favor and subscribe to this channel. Click that like button and click that notification bell to be notified when I have live streams and when I have new videos just like this. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. But if you haven't clicked that notification bell, you might not necessarily receive all the notifications for this channel. So please make sure and double check at least if you've done so. Please check out the links below. Once again, I said you can check out ericbeatty.com/gear for a list of a bunch of this gear that I have, and where you can buy it and where you can purchase that for your own self, maybe to experiment with or to try out, maybe if you're curious. But until the next video, thank you so much, and I'll be watching for you guys to comment. Leave some comments below and tell me what you leave in your guitar cases. What are some things that I may have left out that you keep in your guitar cases? We would like to hear that very much. Thanks so much for watching. This is Eric signing off. Goodbye and God bless.